Jackson TSC manager, Kelby Wallace. Hey, Kelby.
Good afternoon, Bart. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome back. How are you?
Thanks. Good to be back.
Yeah. The project, it's rolling along, and it looks like from the announcements that we've been seeing this week, it's this week and weekend going to be super busy.
Yeah, so a lot of things coming together. Reaching some milestones where we're actually going to put eastbound traffic back on the new concrete pavement that we've been building for quite a while. So that's a real milestone that we've now kind of got that whole area from airport all the way to the Cooper Street area that we completed a couple years ago, all new concrete pavement. We've got to do some median work there in the middle in between the two bounds, but now traffic will be back where it's normally supposed to be, so that people start to see how wide it is. It won't be striped to 3 lanes yet, but they'll be able to see that pavement out there. So a lot. That's a great milestone. And in addition, we're starting to move in kind of the major phases over at the Elm Road Interchange, which requires us to knock down that old Elm Road Bridge, and we're doing that overnight on Friday. May possibly need some time on Saturday night, depending on how well and how quick things go, because we have to open that freeway open in the morning, especially eastbound, because we do know it is race weekend and we don't want to impede any of the race traffic that would be heading down there Saturday morning.
Yeah, and that's an important note, that it's the closure 94 east and west completely, but just at night, starting at 9 p.m. Friday?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. We plan that we'll be opening eastbound by 6 a.m., more earlier. Westbound, since that really doesn't carry that race traffic right there, folks wouldn't be going that way until they left the race. And on Saturday, the race doesn't even start till afternoon, which is a smaller race on Saturday anyways, but we'll be opening westbound by noon, so that if people are leaving the race traffic, that freeway will be open back up. So my staff's been working really hard this week, and the contractor, to try to make sure the detours are set up. Message boards are everywhere, so people kind of get that message, but appreciate you spreading that message here today to folks that that will be happening. So traffic will basically be directed off at M60 on the west side of town and on 127 south on the east side of town, and using Michigan Avenue to bypass, using the business route, which is what it's for, for commercial traffic, to use that starting at 9 o'clock. So you will see that extra traffic on Michigan Avenue and Louis Glick over to M60 and vice versa.
Be a good day to set up a lemonade stand if you have property on Michigan Ave.
There'll be lots of extra traffic. We usually see a busy slug around 9 to 10:30. After that, it really drops off. So, and even that's why we have them do it on the weekends when we do stuff like this. Like, there's hardly any traffic at 6, 5, 6, even 7 a.m. on 94 on the weekends. Now, on the weekdays, different story, right? You got all your commuters, but the weekends it's really quiet till later in the day when people are out doing their shopping and hardware trips on Saturday.
Well, you brought some photos, so let's take a look at what's been going on 94, and you can walk us through these.
Yeah, so here we are on the south side of 94, looking at the new West Avenue interchange, the DDI. We've got these, basically the whole west side of that new roadway built, all the concrete, and now all lanes of traffic are on the west side of the West Avenue 127 road under 94, and we've got the ramps here at the bottom of the screen that'll eventually take traffic north to Lansing.
DDI, Divergent Diamond Interchange. And we're all going to be very familiar. We're going to be saying DDI just like we say cloverleaf, right?
Correct. Thanks for correcting me there. I need to not use acronyms. So it's a diverging diamond interchange that we're building out there that'll help carry traffic.
The asphalt, that will be gone.
Correct. So that's one of the things that we've learned on this. A good lesson is probably shouldn't try to build a diverging diamond interchange and maintain traffic at the same time. So the final product out there is going to be all concrete. Any of the asphalt that you see out there is all temporary pavement that we've had to install. And in this picture and the next, you can start to see some of these concrete pours that are bits and pieces that are due to the design of the DDI, and just just quite complex. This is a picture looking down south, kind of near Boardman, looking north. You can see the hotels there in Blackman Township to the north there. So you can kind of see where in the middle of the screen there, we've got these concrete pieces extending, and that ends up going to carry the, get traffic to the opposite side of the roadway so that they can then access westbound 94. And you can see in the picture we're still building the east side of West Avenue under 94. And in fact, this picture is about 3 to 4 weeks old. That pavement's all gone, and we're starting to put down our new sand and aggregate to pour the next phase of concrete there on the east side of the under 94 right there.
It's a miracle you're able to do this while you're maintaining traffic. It's unbelievable.
So yeah, and I always tell people, yeah, this project could have been done in a year, but we would have had to shut the roads down completely, right, and get traffic off it, and then you can build it safely and quickly. But that's just not how we do things when there aren't adequate detour routes, and we've got lots of businesses that just couldn't afford to have no traffic for a year. So this is a picture of that I-94 bridge over West Ave, and just kind of thought it was a cool picture of that Jackson sign there in the corner that's going to end up having a little more color added to it, but it would match the Jackson signs that are at the Cooper Street interchange.
It's cool too, coming off the exit ramp, the first picture we saw, you've got that standalone.
Got another, correct. We'll have that one for people approaching West Avenue in both directions. Jumping over to Elm Road here, this is kind of a picture. You can see where our new freeway ramps will tie into both these two roundabouts. The one on the left side of the screen is on the south. The one on the right side that's not paved completely is on the north side of the interchange, and that's where our two freeway ramps will connect into and handle traffic kind of like the roundabout does at Cooper Street. So, and again, we've actually got concrete poured on that south side, that north roundabout in the 3 weeks since this picture was taken with our drone.
So the bridge that's coming out is the existing one on the top right corner.
Absolutely.
And then when so that's gone, it leaves a big hole. Will traffic then be going over the new bridge?
So right now we're going to have about 45 days where there will be no connection over. Yeah, there will be no connection over 94, and all those movements will be detoured down to Cooper Street to get over the freeway and get on and off the freeway using the Cooper Street bridge or ramps.
Okay. Extreme Dodge is remodeling their showroom, taking advantage of the construction.
Are they?
Yeah. So
I've been in communication with all the dealers down there. Each time we've had some more impacts. So, trying to give them good warning and working with them to add a sign when needed. Picture of that southern roundabout. You can see where we've got a few more concrete pours to do in the interior of the roundabout with that little circle, the smallest circle. That's kind of a decorative wall that we also have at Cooper Street that we worked with the city of Jackson and Jackson County to help. They helped fund those to provide a little extra aesthetic enhancement, make them look a little nicer.
Yeah, they look great on Cooper Street.
Yeah. So I jumped back over. This is kind of looking on eastbound I-94 towards Lansing Avenue Bridge in the back, very, very faint background there. This was kind of the last piece of concrete that needed to be poured so that we could end up putting traffic back on it tomorrow. So they were out there kind of putting in these last pieces the last 3 weeks of missing concrete because we had to skip some concrete for entrance exit ramps. Right there you can kind of see this is looking towards Lowe's and the Outback, and you can see the fully intact pavement, but you can see where we actually we usually gap it out. So right where that exit ramp crossed it, and we've got the drums across the concrete, we had to gap that out for a while. So it ends up adding time to the project because you pour both sides of the ramp, and then you have to go ahead and shut the ramp down for a short time, hurry up and pour that. So it takes longer, but otherwise our ramps would be closed for quite a long time. That is a big impact to the motorists and businesses.
It's cool. So the concrete that will be open eastbound, approaching Cooper, I mean, it's got a really cool look and feel. It's like a skyway kind of section of the highway as it goes over Cooper Street.
Yeah.
It's a little, it's raised and it's
Yeah,
quite a bit higher than it was before.
We've got that
Yeah.
bridge where we go over the Grand River and the railroad too there
Yep.
that you're going over, so yeah.
All right, now to downtown where we have the railroad overpasses.
Railroad bridge replacement, right. So this is a shot at Jackson Street where we are replacing the bridge, and you can kind of picture on the left there shows the new concrete footing. And I thought it was really cool how the footing is going under the existing bridge, in between the existing what we call piers and abutment of that bridge, so that that bridge can stay intact while we're building it. And so it's a real tight space under there, and real close to the rail track, so it takes a long time.
And that carried one lane of traffic under that little section at one point.
Correct. This is another view of that, and you can see just kind of all the new steel retaining walls that are right there, and the new concrete kind of on the right middle there. That is where the new bridge support system will be sitting on top of. So we're working in really tight quarters, and you've got a live, Amtrak line and commercial rail line that's running right above the workers, and we've got these steel retaining walls on both sides of the tracks to make sure that those slopes aren't lost, and the integrity of the tracks is not lost. So just kind of example of how tight and how complex that construction is at Mechanic and at Jackson.
You need to be an engineer to fully understand it, because it's, it's amazing that all this, obviously a year of work, to get to the point where in like one day, you actually yank out old and push in the new, right? When it's all ready to go.
So on the railroad bridge project, we going to end up yanking out the old one and putting in 2 new bridges over a 120-hour time frame.
Amazing.
So a little under 4 days, I think that ends up being.
Do you have a
Over
betting
4
pool on how many hours after it's completed that the first truck will get stuck under it?
No, we don't. I can't remember if I mentioned before, there is a what we call a sacrificial beam that's out there that doesn't actually carry the railroad structural load, so that if it does take a high load hit and something hits that beam, it's not a structural concern.
Now, you've probably been through some drive-through restaurants where they have a canopy, and they have some kind of a thing before, like I don't know, it's like those car wash things that warn the driver that, hey, you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
Do you do anything like that?
So I'm not aware of any that we have in our area. I think when that's come up before, the concern, some of it was, how do we put it on Louis Glick when taller loads are allowed?
Right.
Because there's just one lane in each direction when the city went through the one-way, converting those one-way streets. So I think logistically it was concerning whether it would be effective, because you wouldn't want to have that on the through lanes of Louis Glick.
I get it.
Because normal loads would hit it, and they wouldn't be turning onto the lower bridge. And so maybe someday we'll have some infrared technology, LiDAR, that maybe measures vehicles and has a message board to warn a driver or something. But we're not quite there, and just how close that is to Louis Glick makes that tougher to message drivers.
Yeah, and it's not the problem of the bridge or the road, and it's the drivers. They are driving a vehicle they don't know the clearance of. It amazes me. I've driven like a box truck, which is pretty high off the ground, and you feel when you're approaching the bridge, it looks like you're going to hit it. Yeah. I can't imagine these drivers don't get that sensation, and I just don't get it.
Yeah. We try to sign for that kind of stuff, but
try to educate drivers. And the roundabouts, I like the roundabouts. I think they move traffic through much better than traditional intersections, but there are people that still do not know how to drive in a roundabout. What can you do about that?
You know, we have some informational materials on our website because, you know, in the past 5 to 10 years, MDOT has really installed a lot more roundabouts because we understand that they can be a much safer alternative than a traffic signal. You know, I always say roundabouts, you know, slow people down to a almost not a crawl speed where you're going 20 miles an hour, and then if there happens to be a crash, it's usually a side swipe, which you bounce off each other and you go home. Well, at a traffic signal, if somebody runs a red light, you've got a 55 mile per hour T-bone. It doesn't usually end up in a good situation. Usually real high chance of some severe injury. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the number one thing in roundabouts. So when we did that, we have some informational material that shows people kind of where to stop, where to yield, and then when to go.
I think the simplest explanation is whoever's in the roundabout, it's their roundabout. They have the right of way. Right. If you want to get into the roundabout, you have to wait and watch for anyone that's in the roundabout.
Right, kind of like a yield at a country road. The yield means you're kind of slow, but you go when you have the gap. And I think I see a lot of people who don't quite know that they can go.
I right? Is he going straight? Is he going?
Yep.
Back to 94. One of the things about the old 94 was east and west. They were like just right up against each other. There's just very little space between. Is there going to be more space?
Yeah. So I believe we'll be kind of this next phase on 94 out between Airport and Lansing Ave. We'll be installing the new concrete median to separate the lanes from a safety perspective, right? We're going to be reinstalling that. So they'll be working on that for the next several months. But in that time frame, they're also going to finish up the shoulders, the inside shoulders we call them. And they're going to be anywhere from 8 to 12 foot in both directions.
Oh, good. That
are separated, that are keeping traffic away from that center wall. So going to feel like almost on an airport taxiway, you know, when we're driving through this when it's completed later this year, compared to how it used to be because of the things you mentioned.
Yeah, when you think about the winter, snow removal was challenged because there was literally no place to put it.
Right. No, I think between that and the overhead lighting that's going to light the area is going to be a huge help to maintenance.
So 94 through Jackson, it's going to be like the MDOT showplace.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's great for Jackson too, because I think that's the impression people have of the community. If you go through a community that, you know, the only thing you see of it is the highway through it, I mean, that's your impression of the place.
Yeah, we're going to have 4 beautiful bridges, a nice new concrete pavement, new exit ramps, the signs as people exit West Avenue, the Jackson emblem. So I think it's something hopefully people are proud of. I know it's hard to see that, you know, through the forest right now, but we're getting closer and we'll be there.
We are, but again, when the whole thing, it's more than a year away, isn't it?
Correct. Right now, we're looking at sometime, and that's one of the reasons why, you know, people ask, well, why would you even try to do this race weekend? Well, if we don't, that means we wait another week. And that week is super critical right now to get into a good position before the winter gets really bad, because our plan right now is, you know, in the Elm Road area to have all of eastbound done and traffic back on eastbound, you know, before the weather gets too cold this year. So, and if we waited that week, we're really taking our chances, you know, getting close to Christmas again, and we don't want to do that. We want to be done, you know, by Thanksgiving this year, and this you know, sequence of events this week really sets that in motion. And, you know, once that we have eastbound done, then we'll just have westbound next year, and we're hoping, you know, we have a midsummer, late summer where we might be substantially done out here. You know, there'll be lots of little stuff to do, but we kind of have traffic all done.
We can see the light at the end of the tunnel. When you take that bridge out, is it going to be like a giant plunger that explodes it into smithereens?
Not quite as exciting as that. The contractor right now, if you drive out there, they've got 5 or 6 pieces of equipment on both sides of the road. We've got these large jackhammers that go on the end of a large excavator, and they'll be hitting it from both sides, and first they destroy the concrete, and then they'll pull the beams off. The beams actually run all the way across 94. There's no center, what we call pier. So they're very, very long beams, but they're steel I-beams. So they end up salvaging and recycling those. They're, a valuable commodity. So they'll first take off all the concrete, knock it down below. Below is going to be replaced anyways, so it's you don't have to worry too much about protecting that road below. It's going to be new concrete soon, and then they'll pull the beams off. So they're very skilled at doing that, and my staff will be out working hard to make sure all the detours are set up and things are done safely, and we get through this weekend. We should kind of be on a good trajectory for the rest of the season.
Awesome. Well, continued good luck and safety to the crews, and thanks for all the updates.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
From Michigan Department of Transportation, Jackson TSC Manager, Kelby Wallace. Stay tuned. Up next here on JTV, we've got a really cool project that the Jackson Fire Department is doing, helping